Hi everybody and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you're new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel. If you're returning, you all know how much I adore you. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get right on into the crafting. DIY number one. So I have a bunch of these ornaments from the Dollar Tree that I picked up last year. I've got 3 different sizes and I'm going to be using one of each. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the little nubby thing that holds the ornament hanger, if you will. And I'm using my hot glue. I showed you I have a little teeny wood round that's out of my stash from a set of wood pieces that I'd gotten from the Dollar Tree. And just using hot glue to secure the largest ball to the wood round, the next size ball to the large one, and then the smallest one is going to go on top. You're probably already guessing what it is that I'm making here, but I'm using my home decor Adirondack white chalk paint to give that a really good coat of paint. And now I am using my green cotton yarn. This is also from the Dollar Tree. And I cut off about 9 strands of yarn, not about, it was 9 strands. So I tied a knot in that. I went ahead and braided it, and now I am fraying the ends of the yarn. I had tied it off on both ends and just creating a little tiny scarf here. So once I had that all frayed, I trimmed off both ends, and there is our cute little scarf. Just a very simple braid, so nothing fancy there. So now I have this red felt that I'd gotten from Arteza. It's adhesive felt, and I had just grabbed one of my bottles of paint that was about the right size for the circle that I wanted to cut, used that as a pattern, cut it out. Now I'm looking to create the next part of the little hat that I'm making. So I've got the brim was that large circle, and now I am making the top part of the hat, and I feel like somebody at some point shared with me what that is called. I can't remember. So at any rate, I am going to go ahead and apply that, and then I am going to flip it over and get an approximate size for the top of the hat to close it off with another piece of felt. So this is a very basic, very simple way of doing this. As you can see, I'm pulling off the backing from the felt to stick that on there. And then I went into my stash of all my little mini jingle bells, and I pulled out a few green ones. You'll be seeing me using these jingle bells on another project later on, but just using some hot glue to add a few little jingle bells to our snowman's hat for a little bit of interest. So now I have from my stash again, this is also from the Dollar Tree. They are little twig-like things. I don't know. It's a pick of twigs with little snowflakes all over it. So I am using my craft knife here to just slice some slits in the hat so that it will conform to his little head a little bit more. And then I peeled away some of that backing, but not all of it, because I don't want stuff to get stuck up underneath his hat. So just enough to get it to stick to his little head. And now applying his arms with hot glue and just adding a little bit more hot glue so that it's nice and secure. And then I have some more fake snow from the Dollar Tree in my stash, and I'm sorry, I'm a little off camera here, but I'm just sprinkling some of that into the hot glue to camouflage the hot glue with a little bit of extra snow. And you'll be seeing me use that fake snow in another project a little bit later as well. So now just taking his little scarf and tying it around his neck, and he's already so cute. I love snowmen. What is your favorite thing to decorate with during the winter season? Mine is snowmen. I absolutely love snowmen. So I'm just using my Arteza acrylic paint markers to create his little face and his buttons, and doing his nose in the orange acrylic paint marker. And that's it. He is so sweet. I love him, and I hope you love him too. So today is the Crafted by Corie Minis Challenge. I am super excited. So when you are done watching my video, you're going to want to check out the description box for the playlist link and go see all of the awesome inspiration. So if you are interested in participating next month, the theme will be fall. Here are all of the rules, and we will be going live with minis for fall on Friday, August 20th. I hope that you'll join us then. DIY number 2. So for this project, it's going to be super simple. I have a couple of mugs from the Dollar Tree. I have some vinyl from Cricut. This obviously is a red buffalo check. It also makes me think of plaid. And so I went into the Cricut Studio on my phone app and I just punched in an A and an R, and I am going to be doing initial mugs. And I saw something like this on Pinterest and I thought it was the cutest idea. So I did 2 of each letter because I want to make the mugs have a front and a back. So no matter which way you hold the mug, you can see the letter. And so one is for Rich and the other is for Elena. So my fiance and my daughter are both going to be getting some mugs. And I just love the size of these mugs too. They are nice and big and fantastic. So once my little Cricut Joy had cut out the decals, you can see here I'm just applying them with some transfer tape. And you can see I'm just using a little bottle of paint underneath my mug handle to help me keep it steady and where I want it. That is it. Such a simple and fun project, and you can personalize anything this way. Just love it. But let me know what you think. Here are my mugs all done, both of them. DIY number 3. So I have from my stash again these little cutout wooden stockings, and I believe I actually had gotten these from Michael's, and I think there are 6 of them there. I must have used one last year, and so this is what I had left, but it was perfect for what I wanted to do. Used my Adirondack white chalk paint again, as you could see, and I am now just tracing out the letters for my words here. Now you'll notice that the little tips of the toes did not get the white paint. I wasn't worried about it. That was where I was holding on to them, but I'm going to be covering that with red anyway. So I just want to make sure I had a nice coat of white all over the area where my letters were going to be because I wanted those to show through in white. So now I'm going in and filling in with my Imperial red chalk paint. I believe this is a Waver. No, I'm mistaken. It's not Waverly. It's Home Decor. They're both plaid products, so by the same company, just a different line, if you will, but all chalk paint. So you can use whatever red you have. You could use an acrylic paint. It doesn't have to be chalk paint. I'm just using what I have in my stash and what is going to give me the best coverage for what I'm trying to do. So once I have my red all taken care of, I am stringing these little stockings along with some of my green jingle bells, and I'm just adding a jingle bell in between the holes and then also in between each stocking, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz and make it a little bit more fun. So there they are, so cute. And then I did go ahead and just add one more jingle bell to either end, and then I just put a knot in it to make sure that everything was going to stay put. So just a cute little jingle garland. DIY number 4. For this project, I have a mason jar. I've got some Christmas trees from the Dollar Tree. I'm showing you more of my little jingle bells, and then some fake snow and my little star ornaments also from the Dollar Tree. So I am just taking the larger of these two little Christmas trees and making sure that it's going to fit inside my mason jar. I'm going to glue my tree to the inside of the lid, and as you can see, I'm working with this all upside down. I'm going to take one of my little stars and I am pulling off the little holder thingy or the little hanger part so that it's just the star, and I'm going to use some hot glue and secure that to the top of my little tree. And then I'm going to be taking my little jingle bells. I'm going to decorate the tree with some of the jingle bells. So I know it's really hard to see here on the video, but I'm actually hanging the little bells on the little bristles of the tree. So there's like a little hanger place, I guess you could say, for the jingle bells, and I'm using that and tucking it in on the little bristles, and then I'm coming in with some hot glue. Hopefully you can see a little bit better there what I'm doing, but then coming in with a little bit of hot glue just to make sure that it stays put on the little bristles. So you can see there how I just kind of slid it right onto the bristle and then I glued it down. And so once I had that all done, I'm taking some of my artificial snow and I'm pouring it into the glass portion of my mason jar, right? So the jar itself. I'm just gonna flip my tree upside down. That's why I needed to glue it to the inside of the lid, right? And then secure that, turn it right side up, and shake all my snow down. So cute. Now it's time for a shout out timeout. So pretty, Charlene. Charlene did this wonderful display for 4th of July and I love it. Cute Carmen, all these wonderful little minis she made for her sister's fairy garden. And lovely Laura, this was finger knitting, so cool. And adorable Valerie for all of our dog lovers. I love these so much. And awesome Rose, something new and different that Rose attempted and they look great. I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 5. So for this project, I have the base from a Dollar Tree paper towel holder and then a whole bunch of these evergreen ties that I've had in my stash from last Christmas season. And I'm just going to fold them all in half to get the center point, and I'm cutting them with my wire cutters. I am just going to then take them and at the halfway point bend them around the paper towel holder here and give them a good twist so they're on secure, and I am just going to do this all the way around the paper towel holder. And you can see we're actually building a really easy little evergreen wreath. And you can make this as full or as sparse as you choose. I chose to make this relatively full. And so every time I added one of these, I just slid it up behind the one in front of it and just made sure that they were all on there nice and secure. So now I have a bunch of these teeny little ornaments from the Dollar Tree as well, and I am just going to identify where I want to place them. I have silver in a couple of different styles, so like glittery and shiny and matte, and then gold that was glittery, and my red as well. So once I have them placed around where I want them, I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I want to attach them. And I decided against hot glue, so I pulled out my floral wire and I started to attach them through the part of the ornament that you use to hang them normally. And that was working fine, and you'll see I did that a few times, but then I just felt like they were sticking out too far off of the wreath, and I was trying to twist it, get it tighter in there, and eventually, and then I was just clipping off of the wire there. But after a little bit of doing that, I finally decided that I wanted to try doing it without the little hanger. So you can see here, I'm about to pull that off. I'm like, you know what? Let me try and attach it directly to the bulb. And it does have a little lip on there, which worked perfectly so that the wire doesn't slide off. So I just wrapped the wire around the little neck of the bulb itself and then attached it to the wreath. And that just gave me, the fit was a little bit more snug, and that made me a little bit happier. But here it is with all my little bulbs on there. And then I knew I wanted to put a ribbon on here, like a really pretty bow. So I pulled out my Kirkland ribbon. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before. I understand from one of my sweet subscribers that places like Sam's Club and BJ's also carry this type of ribbon. So obviously it's going to be their own brands, but definitely check out your wholesale clubs if you have one near you, because I will tell you, this 50-yard roll of ribbon was $6.99 at Costco, and I love it. I've got every single year I go back and get more of their ribbon, and they usually have new styles and textures and prints, and just so pretty. I love it so much, and it's such a great price. So I created my ribbon. I'm just tying it on here, and then I created a little loop with some of the excess ribbon. So I have a hanger, and there it is, just fluffing up my ribbon. And now this is a wreath that I had made with a little wreath hanger back in spring, and I'm going to use that for my wreath to be putting on my tiered tray in just a little bit. DIY number 6. So I have one of these little, I think it's actually a decanter vase from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just getting an idea of how large I want to make my decal in a little bit. But for right now, I decided I was going to go ahead and give it a good coat of paint. I knew I was going to need to give it a second coat of paint, and I don't know if you have the same challenge as I do painting on glass, but when I go back in to give it my second coat of paint, it gets gloppy or it wants to pull the first layer up. It's just, I always find it to be a challenge. So I started to, I don't know why, but I decided I was going to start painting the inside of this a little bit. And as I was doing it, it occurred to me, well, what if I had just painted the inside of it to begin with? Maybe I would have had a nice even surface on the outside. I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try that. So I had another one in my stash. I went ahead and grabbed it, and I decided I was going to paint the inside. And I actually liked the way this looked so much better. And you're going to understand a little bit more why in just a few minutes when you see the decal that I'm going to be putting on this. So I went ahead and I just made sure that the entire inside was covered. I did end up pouring a little bit of extra paint in there and let it swoosh around, and then I set it upside down to dry. So now I've got my little Cricut Joy again, and I am creating a label for this. It's something that was already designed in their little studio, and then I'm going to go ahead and weed it out. And I am loving this little decal. Milk for Santa. So once I had it all set and I got it onto my transfer tape, I just went ahead and I was able to apply it right to my little now milk jug. And look at how sweet this is. And it actually looks like it has milk in it because I painted the inside of it. So the one that I painted exterior, I'll save that for another project in the future, and I'm sure that it will be used for something at some point. But look at how cute. So now I grabbed some of my Dollar Tree ribbon from my stash. This is all stuff that I had picked up last year. And I am just going to try and create a little bow around the neck of the bottle. So I decided I was just going to do a simple knot there, trimmed off the ends. And now I am flipping the ribbon around and around, just looping it over itself. This is a one-sided ribbon, so I needed to make sure that I was keeping the pattern on the outside. So I just flipped it around. I made sure that I had it enough for 5 loops on either side. And then I notched it. You could see there. Wendy from White Sparrow Living makes the best bows, and this is how she makes hers. So thank you, Wendy, for the tips. I love this. And so then I'm just gonna pull it all apart in different directions, having that notch there. And you saw that I attached it with some floral wire in the middle. You could use a chenille stem, whatever you have on hand to just secure that in the middle. But having those notches allows all the little loops to go in different directions. And then I just trimmed off my wire, and I'm going to attach it with some hot glue right there to the knot that I had created on the neck of the bottle. And that's it. I think this is super sweet. Wait till you see here. There it is. Look how cute. I love this. I hope you like it too. DIY number 7. So I have some shower curtain rings and then a bunch of little fun garland, I guess you would call this. So I took all the shower curtain rings, and normally this is a pack of 12, I believe, but I only had 11 because I had used one of these for another project. And I decided I was going to try and hook them all together first. Later, I realized I should have just left them apart. So do as I say, not as I do here. I am using the opening here. I'm realizing I need it open again to my advantage. I'm hooking the little, I'm going to call this garland for lack of a better term, but hooking that to the one end, and then I am going to be wrapping it all the way around each of my little rings. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to end up wrapping every single ring so that they'll be completely covered with the garland. And at some point I do realize here that it's going to be easier if I don't connect them from the start. There it is. So I set the rest of them aside. I'm using that opening with the ring to my advantage. And once I get it almost completely covered, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to cut off the end to help me finish that up. But I'll close it off first. I don't know if I showed you closing it, but I closed the shower curtain ring and then I wrapped it the rest of the way. So that's the first one. And I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to start on the second one. So I'm just going to take that one off, and this one I'm going to do in gold. So I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to secure it at the edge. And you want to make sure that you don't get it in the way of where the shower curtain ring comes together. It will lock itself together. So I'm leaving it open right now and just making sure that I'm not covering up the locking mechanism. So I'm going to wrap that all the way around. And once I get all the way around with the whole thing covered, again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a tail for myself. I'm going to hook this into the first one. So now they're linked. I'm going to close it up, and then I will go ahead and cover up the closure with the rest of that little trim, that tail that I had left. And that's what I'm going to do for the rest of these. And I'm just going to alternate the colors. So I have red, gold, and silver. I don't have any green. They didn't have any when I was looking for it at my Dollar Tree last year. So this is what I have to work with. But you can make as many of these or as few of these as you want. And I just thought it would be a really fun little thing to have on my tiered tray. And here we are with the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the projects, please give me a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments which project was your favorite. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing that and come back and visit with me again real soon. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Take good care. Bye.